Hello and welcome to Hobby Envoy. I'm Cole, and for this first video on the channel, we're stacking a whole bunch of firsts. First time painting a Gunpla, first time using an airbrush, first time using some basic chipping techniques, and a couple other little experimental things I wanted to try. And when you're doing something like that, you really need a victim. Something that you're not going to care about if you mess up. And that victim today is a high-grade gem that we're going to put together. So before I show off the finished product, we're just going to walk real through the process that it took me to get there, from putting it together to throwing down that final clear coat. Assembling the model was not difficult at all. It's high-grade gem. I think the kit's from 2001. It's old enough to drink. And it is very simple, even compared to other high grades. So only a few hours to build. And we can see briefly here what it's kind of a before photo, what it looked like before I started throwing down paint. My first experience using an airbrush was quite pleasant. The main body, or really the bulk of the gem, is white, and from my experience brush painting miniatures, getting this clean of a white across such broad and flat surfaces is possible using a brush. But it's a pain in the ass and takes forever. Whereas painting all the white surfaces on this gem with the airbrush took me about an hour in total. And from there, doing the other various colors didn't take quite as long. I think I spent about 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour, laying down the black. And then everything else was detail work. Probably the most frustrating part about doing airbrushing had nothing to do with the actual brushing of the paint at all. As you can see here from this clip where I'm touching up the torso, I laid down this red stripe across the right side of the chest, and I had wanted to record painting down that stripe, because really I was experimenting with how that would work with the airbrush, but I ended up not recording and just like moving the camera so it wasn't in my way while I was playing around with masking it off. I spent more time fighting my painter's tape than I did actually laying down that stripe. Probably the one part of this that didn't turn out how I wanted it was the visor for the main camera. My idea was I wanted to try and mimic the mono eye effect that the gem from Requiem for Vengeance had, and I think it's possible, but I just think I needed to probably let my thought process on how to do it have more time in the oven. The chipping turned out quite well. Just a simple sponge method. I looked up a few different ways of doing it on YouTube, and this seemed to be an effective and efficient way to go about it, and I like how it turned out. And here's our final product. One painted high-grade gem. It's not perfect, but I find some flaws to be perfectly acceptable, especially considering the intention for this was to be an experimental test bed for multiple different things. I'm particularly happy with how the shield turned out. It required some touching up, is around the kind of star on it that had some leakage with the tape, but painting black over yellow isn't that hard to do with a brush. So it turned out nice and clean. And overall, I'm happy to put this on my shelf next to the rest of all the other Gunpla. I'm definitely going to be pursuing painting some more of these 144 scale Gunpla. Probably keep it with high grades for the moment, but I wouldn't put real grades off the table either. I've got a bunch of kits in the back room. Oh, they're on the floor over there. But I think I already have an idea of which one's going to be coming up next. Give you a hint, it's a grunt mech. Grunt mech? My battle text coming through. It's going to be a grunt suit, not from the Universal Century. Catch you in the next one.